I would like to welcome you in this section of the course where we're going to be looking at how to set up a development environment for C++ on a Windows machine. The first thing we're going to need to set up is an editor, and for that we will be using Visual Studio Code throughout this course here. So we will see how to install it and set it up on Windows. And after that, we will install a bunch of compilers that we can use to process the code we have written in our editor here. So what is going to happen, we will take the code, we will pass that through a compiler, and the compiler is going to produce a final executable binary that we can run and do stuff. So we will need two things here. We need an editor, we need a compiler, and this section is about setting up all these things here. In terms of IDEs, you have a lot of options. You can use Visual Studio Code, you can use Microsoft Visual Studio, you can use CodeLight on Windows, but this course is going to be using Visual Studio Code mainly because it is cross-platform in nature, and the things we do if I am using Windows in this course here are going to look and feel the same if you are using Linux or a Mac. That's why Visual Studio Code was chosen as the editor of choice in the course here. So we will see how to install and set up Visual Studio Code. Once we have an editor set up, we will need to install a compiler that is going to process our C++ code. For that, we also have a bunch of options. We can use the GCC compiler, which is wrapped in MinGW on Windows. You can use the compiler from Microsoft. You can use the Clang LLVM compiler. I will show you how to install all these compilers and how to set them up in a way that you can use them from Visual Studio Code. And that's going to be really cool. Before we go off and install our tools, I want you to keep these points in your mind. The course will show you how to set up Visual Studio Code. That's going to be our editor of choice. You can choose one of the compilers that I will show you, but if you want, and I really recommend that, you can use all these compilers because they are freely available, so there is really no excuse for you not to download them and install them and use them as you learn about C++. Okay, now that we have this out of the way, let's head over to the next lecture, and I will show you how to install and set up Visual Studio Code on your Windows machine. Go ahead and finish up here and meet me there.